The gym is quiet. The usual rhythm of punches and footwork has faded for the day. A single light hums overhead, casting soft shadows across mats and equipment. In one corner, a young woman sits quietly. Her posture is tense. Her hands rest lightly on her knees, but the bruises along her arms and shoulders tell a story she isn't speaking aloud. No one interrupts her. No one hovers. But the tension is tangible. Then he enters. Steven Seagal, calm, measured, authoritative without needing to speak. No dramatic entrance. No shouting, just presence. The room subtly shifts. Attention gravitates toward him naturally. He notices immediately. Not with surprise, not with anger, but with quiet awareness. The bruises, the hesitation, the fear, all of it registers in a single, steady glance. The young woman looks up briefly. Uncertain. He doesn't approach aggressively. He pauses a few steps away, giving her space. The room feels heavier for a moment, not because of action, but because everyone knows something important is unfolding. The moment stretches, emphasizing human tension without dramatization. Every observer, every breath, every subtle shift counts. And then, for anyone reflecting on this scene, the thought naturally arises. Have you ever witnessed someone in pain and didn't know how to respond? What did you do? No immediate answer is expected. It's a moment for the audience to pause, reflect, and feel the weight of silent observation, the hook that draws them deeper into the story. The young woman remains still. Seagal's calm presence signals patience, not judgment. And the story quietly begins. The gym is still quiet, but the energy has shifted. Every own present senses a new rhythm, subtle, controlled, and watchful. Steven Seagal doesn't need to speak loudly. He walks slowly toward the center, his presence commanding without aggression. Students pause mid-stretch. Assistants shift slightly. Even the equipment seems secondary to his calm authority. The young woman remains seated on the mat. She notices his gaze but doesn't flinch. There's a tension between her vulnerability and his steady observation. No words, no instructions, just presence. Others in the room instinctively respect the hierarchy. The assistants maintain distance. The students watch quietly, learning from the unspoken order. Seagal crouches slightly to bring himself closer to her level. Not to intimidate, not to impose, but to observe clearly and carefully. Every micro-movement matters, a tilt of her head, the tension in her shoulders, the slight pull of her hands. He reads it all, without comment. This is the setup. Power is quiet. Authority is measured. Observation is the signal, not voice or action. The young woman notices his calm, measured steps. It's different from the chaos she has faced before. She feels cautious. Yes, but also a strange sense of safety. Everyone in the room adjusts their posture unconsciously. No one speaks. No one acts beyond their role. The hierarchy is established not through confrontation, but through silent recognition of skill and presence. It's a subtle lesson for anyone watching. Control doesn't need to be loud. Authority doesn't need to be forced. Observation alone can define roles, set boundaries, and command respect. The young woman shifts slightly, reassessing her space. Seagal observes, patient and unhurried. The stage is set for reflection, for tension, and for the moments that will follow. The room holds its breath, though no one has said a word. The young woman's bruises are visible now. Subtle but undeniable. Her shoulders tense. Her eyes flick to the floor, then back up cautiously. Steven Seagal remains still, calm, and observant. He does not step closer yet. He does not speak. Every movement he makes, a tilt of the head, a slow shift of weight, communicates awareness without pressure. The silence itself becomes the tension. It's not a confrontation. It's a careful weighing of intent, trust, and caution. The room feels the unspoken stakes, the need for action versus the risk of overstepping. Other people in the gym watch quietly. They recognize the silent boundaries, the invisible hierarchy. No one moves impulsively. The space itself seems charged with observation. In moments like this, decisions are not made through action but through perception. One wrong step, one misread cue, could disrupt trust. The focus is not on drama, but on subtle understanding. When someone's struggle is visible but unspoken, how do you decide whether to intervene or wait? The young woman shifts slightly, testing the waters. Seagal's calm presence signals patience, not force. The tension is maintained through observation, not action, setting the stage for a deliberate, controlled intervention in the next section. After a few tense moments, Seagal steps forward slightly. Not aggressively, not forcefully, just enough to indicate focus, care, and readiness. The young woman sits still, uncertain but willing. She doesn't need to speak. Her consent is visible in her posture and attentive gaze. Seagal crouches subtly, bringing himself to her level. He speaks softly, calm and deliberate. "Let's move together, just for practice. For control, are you ready?" She nods slowly. No dramatic gestures, no overacting. Just a quiet agreement, a mutual acknowledgement. He demonstrates a simple stance, adjusting her posture gently. Each movement precise, controlled. The emphasis is on skill and awareness, not intimidation. He guides her through small, deliberate actions, shifting balance, adjusting angles, noticing openings. Every step is slow, deliberate, reinforcing confidence through understanding, not force. The people in the gym observe quietly. No applause, no commentary. Every subtle gesture communicates a lesson without words. Authority balanced with empathy can empower. The young woman mirrors the movement, at first clumsy, then steadier. Her breathing slows, her body relaxes slightly. The bruises are still visible, but her posture begins to show resilience. The focus is not on showing strength, but on building awareness and control. The silent lesson becomes clear to the observers. Mastery is not always physical. Confidence grows when someone feels supported, guided, and understood. Seagal steps back slightly. The young woman remains centered, testing her balance. The room feels lighter, but the significance is profound, a controlled, deliberate test has reshaped perception, hers, Seagal's, and everyone else witnessing. The gym is silent now, each person sensing that something decisive is about to unfold. The young woman's breathing is steady but cautious. Seagal steps closer. His movements controlled and deliberate. Every eye in the room follows, not in anticipation of spectacle, but in quiet observation. He demonstrates a simple defensive move. Not flashy, not exaggerated. A shift of weight, a step to the side, a subtle block. The goal is precision, not force. The young woman mirrors him. Her movements are hesitant at first, then smoother. Each guided adjustment shows her body responding to understanding, not intimidation. The room watches silently. The power of the moment is not in dramatic confrontation. It is in control, mastery, and care. A small mistake occurs, her balance wavers slightly. Seagal gently corrects it, steadying her without touching aggressively. The lesson is clear: awareness and timing matter more than raw strength. Every subtle movement conveys the shift. What was vulnerability becomes capability. What was fear becomes trust in skill and guidance. What was uncertainty becomes confidence through controlled practice. The observers notice the change. No words are exchanged. No applause. No commentary. The young woman's posture now communicates resilience. Seagal steps back slightly, letting her test the movements independently. In these few minutes, the lesson lands quietly but powerfully. Empowerment does not need drama. Strength is measured not by force, but by control, understanding, and skill applied with care. The room feels lighter. Everyone realizes that what they witnessed is not a show, but a transfer of mastery, confidence, and subtle authority. The gym is quiet again, but it is different now. The young woman stands taller, movements measured and steady. No one claps, no one cheers. Yet the shift is palpable. Steven Seagal steps back, observing silently. He doesn't comment. He doesn't explain. The lesson is absorbed without words. The assistants and students look on, recognizing the change. It's subtle. A tilt of the head, a shift in posture, a quiet acknowledgement of skill and growth. Authority, guidance, and trust have been demonstrated. Not through spectacle, but through measured action and calm presence. The young woman tests a movement independently. She flows through it without hesitation. Her posture confident, the bruises are still there, but they no longer define her. Everyone in the room feels the weight of quiet accomplishment. No words are needed to understand what has happened. The transformation is visible, but understated. Why do you think quiet outcomes often feel more powerful than dramatic ones? Seagal finally moves slightly to the side, giving her space. The room continues its routines, but a subtle energy remains. Every glance, every posture carries the knowledge of what was achieved silently. The moment is framed, remembered, and respected, without fanfare. The young woman has regained her composure. She moves through the gym with quiet confidence, testing her balance and stance. Steven Seagal doesn't speak. He doesn't announce approval or give instructions. He simply observes. His calm presence communicates judgment, guidance, and authority without words. The room senses it. Assistants, students, and bystanders all recognize that something significant has occurred. No one needs explanation. No one needs validation. The lesson is understood through observation and internal acknowledgement. Seagal steps slightly aside, creating space for her to move independently. The dynamic has shifted. What was tension and uncertainty is now mutual understanding and silent respect. The quiet decision, to empower, to guide, to allow growth, has been made. It didn't require dramatic statements or public acknowledgement. Its effect is lasting precisely because it was subtle. For anyone reflecting on this moment, the question arises naturally. Do you think true authority needs to explain itself? Why or why not? Seagal finally moves toward the door, his presence still commanding respect. The young woman continues testing her skills. The room resumes activity, but a quiet energy remains. The decision has been made, lessons absorbed, and no further explanation is required. The gym returns to its usual rhythm. Footsteps echo softly. Equipment clinks in the background, but the energy in the room has shifted, subtly, quietly, irreversibly. The young woman moves with confidence. Her posture is steady, her eyes calm. The bruises she carries are still visible, but they no longer define her. Steven Seagal stands near the door, observing one last time. He does not speak. He does not announce the outcome. He does not seek acknowledgement. The room feels the weight of the moment in silence. Everyone present understands that what occurred was meaningful. No one applauds. No one comments. The lesson, the empowerment, the subtle authority, all remain internalized. The young woman glances around briefly, then continues her practice. The impact of this quiet intervention is clear. Real strength is recognized, respected, and maintained without fanfare or spectacle. If you witnessed something that changed how you see strength, would you talk about it or keep it to yourself? The silence itself emphasizes the answer. Sometimes the most powerful events do not need retelling. They leave their mark in quiet observation, reflection, and the subtle shifts they create in behavior and perspective. The gym continues its routine. The young woman's steps are steady. Seagal's presence lingers in memory, and the quiet respect among everyone present speaks louder than any words could. The story ends not with drama, but with silence, lasting, profound, and meaningful.